4 a.m. In a small, clean house on the outskirts of Juarez, the smell of fresh tortillas and strong coffee fills the air. Meet Hector. Before the tactical vest, before the AR-15 on the passenger seat, Hector was a shadow in the morning mist. He drove a rusted truck, delivering fresh tomatoes and peppers from the fertile fields of Sinaloa to the hungry markets of Monterrey. It was a humble job, a quiet life. But in Mexico, the roads started to change. The asphalt he loved began to taste like lead. Hector stands by the door, checking his boots. His wife walks out from the bedroom. She doesn't say much. She doesn't have to. In her hand is a blue Cruz Azul cap. It's frayed, faded by the sun of 1,000 border crossings. She stands on her tiptoes, placing the cap gently on his head, a silent prayer tucked into the brim. Hector smiles, not a soldier's grin, but a husband's promise. Vaya con Dios, she whispers. Hector nods, picks up his keys, and steps out into the cold morning air. On the wall behind him, 2 things hang that Bradley will never have in his El Paso home: a bottle of olive oil from the local market and a calendar with the Virgin of Guadalupe, 3 months out of date. Hector doesn't care about calendars. He only cares about one thing: what time he'll be home. The vegetable man is going to work. But today, the cargo is worth millions. "6:15 a.m. The sun hits the razor wire of the Juarez industrial zone. Hector's Nissan rolls in, dust settling on the pavement. He sees Bradley, a man who measures life in spreadsheets and delivery windows. They shake hands. Soft skin meets calloused palm. Look at the numbers. Before the Great Migration, the border was a sleepy gate. A few thousand trucks a day, mostly avocados, mostly textiles. Low stakes, low risk. But today, 17,000 trucks every single day. In the first 3 quarters of 2025 alone, $415 billion worth of industrial machinery and electronics flowed through these dusty veins. That's the GDP of Norway in 9 months. When the cargo changed from tomatoes to microchips, the price of the road went up. He traded the rubber for leather. The humble driver became a mercenary, not for glory, but because he don't bring a vegetable knife to a $1 trillion trade war. The convoy hits the highway. 3 armored trucks carrying $12 million in silicon, led by Hector's Nissan. Suddenly, the radio crackles. "Hector, status? We're approaching the scheduled refuel at Kilometer 142. Over." Hector leans back in his seat, one hand on the wheel, the other holding a battered radio mic. "Negative. Plan change. We're pulling into the station at Kilometer 85 now." But Kilometer 85 is smaller.
Logistically, 142 is more efficient. The data shows a clear advantage.
Hector smiles, adjusting his Cruz Azul cap. "Because it's Friday, amigo. In 20 minutes, the produce trucks from Chihuahua will hit 142 like a flood. We be sitting ducks for 2 hours. While Bradley's computers calculate the shortest distance, Hector calculates the human element. In a war zone, a standing truck is a target. Bradley sees a fuel stop. Hector sees a tactical exit. The dust settles as the convoy pulls into the weathered gas station at Kilometer 85. Hector steps out, while the other guards stay in their armored trucks, fingers on triggers. He walks into the small, dimly lit shop. Paco, still selling the worst coffee in Chihuahua? Paco leans in, his eyes darting to the black SUVs outside. Listen to me, amigo. Yesterday, a group of Piratas del Asfalto, the highway pirates, they stopped here for fuel. They were talking about the Yankee chips. They know your route. They're waiting for you at the mountain pass, tucked in the gap of the hills. The most expensive intelligence in the world. NSA satellites, Predator drones, CIA analysts failed to detect an ambush that was prevented by a $2 burrito and a cup of bitter coffee. Hector picks up the radio.
Change of plans, boys. We're taking the Valley Road. It's going to get dusty.
Hector's Nissan swerves. The tires leave the smooth asphalt. This isn't just a detour. This is El Camino Real. 400 years ago, the Spanish Empire used this exact same dirt path to move millions of pesos in solid silver. Today, Bradley's algorithm demands it done in 6 hours. The cartels are waiting at the modern choke points, scanning for GPS trackers. But Hector, he is moving a multi-million-dollar tech shipment using the ghost of a 16th century silver trail.
Let's see their computers track us in the dust of the conquistadors.
Suddenly, Hector downshifts. The dirt trail curves sharply upwards and violently punches through a line of dead bushes. Boom! Asphalt. The violent shaking stops instantly. They merge right past the ambush zone, straight under the blinding sodium lights of the Samaluca toll plaza. In El Paso, Bradley's dead screen suddenly blinks green. The GPS is back online.
Senor Bradley, you can breathe now.
Hector's convoy is safe, but Hector is an exception. Over 14,000 cargo thefts on Mexican highways in a single year. 80% involve violence. The direct losses, over $400 million. All this armor, all this blood, it isn't free. It adds an invisible 8 to 12% markup to the final cost of every product crossing that border. Wall Street calls it logistical friction, but here on the asphalt, we call it the security tax. 7 a.m., El Paso, Texas. Millions of dollars of silicon safe on American soil. Hector hands a crumpled piece of paper to the shift manager. Sends a message to Bradley. Package delivered safely, senor. But suddenly, Hector looks at his watch. His eyes go wide. A look of absolute panic crosses his face. His eyes go wide. A look of absolute panic crosses his face. He didn't sweat when the cartel waited in the mountains, but right now, he is terrified. He throws his tactical vest onto the passenger seat. He has exactly 45 minutes to get to the nearest Walmart. His wife asked him to buy that specific American blender and 2 bottles of vitamins. In the brutal world of cross-border logistics, El Mencho is dangerous, but the anger of a wife waiting for her blender, that is a force of nature Even a tactical vest cannot stop. Every box has a story. Every price tag has a drop of sweat. Look closely at the things you buy. I'm Lalamulu. Check your barcode. See you on the next delivery.